This is Bharti from Illuminations, and a very warm welcome to each one of you who's joined us today. Thank you very, very much.
Hi Bharti,
Hi, I am unable to know who I'm saying hi to right now. Let me check.
Pooja this side.
Hi, Pooja. How are you?
I'm very good. Glad to see you.
Fantastic. Lovely, lovely to have you all here on Zoom as well. Okay. Thank you so much for joining, guys. I'm just gonna get a go ahead from admin and then we are going to start. Can I request everyone to just be on mute? So, super. Okay, so as we have some few more people joining in, I'm just going to start off by giving you a very brief introduction about myself and what we're going to be doing in the workshop today, in the webinar today. Okay, so everything is web these days. Give me a minute. I just want to ensure everyone's here. Okay, I see some familiar faces and some people I'm seeing for the first time. So thank you so much for joining in. I see some people from Singapore and Dubai and India as well. Thank you very, very much. Okay, so give me a second. Let's begin. So our webinar today, guys, is all about negative energy cords and karmic relationships. Yeah, and how we can heal our karmic relationships. We can heal anything only once we know about it. So for you to kind of be with me for the next 1 hour, I will just share a little bit about myself as well as we start on. So like I mentioned, my name is Bharti. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist and I do a lot of energy work. So I work with chakras, I work with auric fields healing, I do theta healing, I do SRT, I do cord cuttings through different modalities. I love sound healing. So basically different modalities which kind of work in just give me a minute. Yeah. So basically, different modalities which kind of work in maintaining and creating a balance in our energy. And why this is so important, I'm going to share with you as we go about through this webinar today. Okay, so I'm going to break this entire webinar into two parts. One is karmic relationships, because that is something which a lot of my clients have recently asked. I had done this same particular webinar some time back, and a lot of clients wanted to know about this who had missed it. So we are kind of doing this again. And this is all about our karmic relationships, how to understand them, what are the key characteristics about it. If we want to heal them, how can we do that? And the second part that I'm going to talk about today is going to be about your energy cords, specifically negative energy cords, which drain our energy. So the premise with which we're going to start with is that we are physical bodies who are tuned in here, who look at each other, who experience life physically. But at a deeper level, we are energy beings. We are pure positive energy which is flowing. And over the course of life, over the conditions, the experiences of life, we kind of tangle our energy with those around us because we have this energy field around us which is constantly mingling. And I'm going to come to that in the second part of it. So we're going to start with the relationships and then we'll move on to the energy cords. Okay. Now, at any point, if you do have a question, feel free to put it on the chat and I will have a look at it so that I can include it in whatever I'm talking as we go along, or I can take it at the end as well. But if you have a question, feel free to post it on the chat if you're on Zoom, yeah, because that will just help to kind of bring it into the session today. Okay, what I'm going to first do is I'm going to just stop this share because it seems to be breaking here. Okay, much better. Give me 1 second. Sorry guys, just give me 1 second. Okay. Yeah, there was just something with the screen, it was not working. So I'm just going to switch this off. Anyways, it's about what we are speaking and communicating today. I'm just going to stick to that. So nothing beyond that. Okay. So let's go on with karmic relationships, like I mentioned. Okay. You've all heard of karma. You've all heard perhaps even of karmic relationships. But what exactly are they? How are they impacting us? How is it that they play a role in our life? How do we identify them? That's what we're going to focus on today because this topic is so huge, it's so vast. But the best way to start off, wherever you are in your own spiritual journey, these characteristics which I'll share with you today will really help you to kind of explore and understand in your space where you are with your relationships, and if there are any challenging or struggling relationships that you are going through or have gone through but they are still weighing heavy in your mind and your heart, how can we work with them? How can we understand them better? That's the goal that I would kind of work with today. Okay, so all of us know that relationships are so fundamental to us, right? And the beauty is that no two relationships are same in our life. If you just sit and just think about your own relationships, if you just reflect upon it and just kind of, in your mind, think about key relationships in your life which have impacted your life, which are meaningful in your life, you would notice that no two relationships are the same. We love a variety of individuals, we dislike a variety of individuals, but nothing is the same, right? They are very different in different ways. There could be certain patterns which are similar in some, but all our relationships are very unique in nature. Okay, if you were to just reflect on them, you would notice that some can be very, very easygoing. They can be very light, very certain people you talk to, you just feel light, you just feel happy, you just feel relaxed. Certain relationships, key relationships, could be very heavy, they could be very, very intense, they could be very argumentative, aggressive in nature. So all relationships have different depths, different length, and they are all in our lives for a particular purpose. An interesting aspect to understand this is that why these relationships all occur in different phases of our life and how is not coincidence. Okay, our physical bodies, they belong to earth, and we believe that our relationships belong to earth, but actually our spirit, our soul, it comes from a more infinite source. Okay, and this spirit, this soul, brings with it certain aspects, certain members who we refer to as soul family, and I'll share that with you as we go along. So these relationships, these attachments that we have, they are much more deeper than the surface what we see in our lives sometimes. So when we are born, there is absolutely no coincidence about who our parents are going to be. When we are born, the soul incarnates on earth, deciding who the parents will be, who are the soul family, what kind of life experiences the soul wants to experience, and therefore who are other members of this soul family who can actually be part of their physical journey and help them with those experiences. Now, some of us may find it easy to take that in, but for some of us, it will be like, why would I want to invite into my life someone who gives me so much pain or has abused me or has given me, some kind of trauma or experiences? Why would I want to do that? But the fact is that our journey on earth is all about experiences, about learnings, and about evolving from those learnings, letting go from those learnings once those learnings are done. And that is why our soul chooses certain experiences for this life, and it chooses certain people who will appear in our life at different times to help us go through these experiences, if that makes sense. Okay, so our relationship with other souls, be it our family, our friends, our partners, whoever comes at different crossroads of our life, especially when We have to make certain choices, big choices. They come to help us stay aligned to the true purpose of our own life. And that is why they are referred very often as a soul family. Now, because our journey on earth is physical and it is bound by time and space, our capacity to understand and interpret certain experiences are limited, and they are typically from this physical dimension. However, in reality, our spirit, like I said, is from an infinite source, and it connects all of us in multitude ways and at a very, very deep level. Our relationship with these friends, these colleagues, partner, ex relationships that we've had, who appear in significant times of our life, they play a crucial role in our life. And they bring us into certain path. And you may notice patterns of this, and I'm going to come to it very soon, where I'm going to talk to you about the characteristics. So they bring us to our true purpose of this life. These souls will keep appearing till the lessons are kind of learned. And once they are learned, these relationships sometimes tend to kind of move apart. Okay, so this happens a lot with karmic relationships. Now, there is no one formula that applies to all our relationships, but like I mentioned, we can distinguish some key characteristics, some key patterns that will help you to identify your own karmic relationships. So perhaps we understand certain relationships, especially the key ones, like say with your partner, with with your parents, with siblings, sometimes even an authoritative boss. A lot of people keep getting these kind of bosses in life who are very similar. Those are all patterns. How do you identify what are karmic relationships, or what are just what we may think as coincidences? So some key characteristics for you now. You can make a note if you like, if you plan to actually reflect on it and work with it at a later space. Okay. Usually, karmic relationships are not meant to last very long. They are more about the learning and the healing from them. Karmic relationships are very, very intense. They can be very strong. They can be very volatile. There is a lot of physical attraction in karmic relationships, you will notice. Also, in karmic relationships, the connection is very instant. It's not like somebody grows onto me or I develop a liking. I come across this person and there is something very instant about it. There is something which I recognize, but I can't put a finger on it. So karmic relationships are very strong in their energetic attraction, in their physical attraction sometimes. They are very strong in their influence over you. Okay. These relationships can also be very consuming in nature. Okay. Many a times people feel that they are meant to be with this person and that this person is their soulmate. That's sometimes a feeling that can come up when you meet someone who is one of your karmic partners, or who's here to help you reach a certain lesson or to understand a certain lesson. The instant feeling could be, this is my soulmate and I need to be with this person. But at a deeper level, these relationships can often be quite dysfunctional. They can be quite toxic as well. Okay. It's like they can be addictive. You, like for a smoker or for someone who's an addict with alcohol or something, it's not good for you, but you still keep going at it. That's similar to how a karmic relationship also sometimes works. So that's another way to kind of identify. These relationships tend to have a lot of patterns. So if you were to just step back, and if you have a challenging relationship that you are wanting to work on or you're trying to heal out of, begin to notice the patterns, the trends that are there. Sometimes these patterns can be very destructive, like strong anger or possessiveness or intense passion. But this does not come from a space of expansion. Okay, they're not functional, they're more toxic in nature. And as you keep getting deeper in this relationship, you keep landing on the same struggle with this person over and over again, but you cannot end up leaving you. Okay, so that's another characteristics which you can look out. Now I must make it clear that it's not like all these characteristics need to be there for every karmic relationship you have. I'm sharing with you a good amount of characteristics which we understand are very, very common in karmic relationships, but it need not be that the one you are in you need to identify with all. Just one or two could give you, and intuitively you will know, because they would be so strong in those characteristics that you would feel that yes, I am struggling in this, or there is something here that I need to heal, and it could be a karmic relationship. Now, the other very, very interesting part of a karmic relationship is these people trigger you. They will constantly make you feel that they are bursting your bubble. You will constantly like pressing your buttons. Okay, they will ignite in you your deepest fears. They will bring to surface your insecurities. They will in many, many, many ways bring up your traumas. And why is that happening? It's not because they are generating any kind of pleasure out of it. It's because at a very deep level, this soul and you have created some kind of a contract, so to speak, a karmic contract, wherein you both are going to help each other go through the lesson, whatever that lesson may be, whether it's a lesson in love, whether it's a lesson in abundance or lack, or whatever it is that you are missing out, you have gone through in this, and this person will keep triggering you to bring this inner child trauma out. They will keep highlighting and bringing to physical level what is needed for you to heal at a spiritual level, to be able to evolve and to grow out of. Okay, another thing about these relationships are, like I mentioned, because they feel so instant, they also feel very easy. They feel very, very comfortable. Even in its destruction, you will find comfort. You believe that this destruction is something that you are comfortable with at some level. Of course, you will have your moments where you will want to walk out of it, you will want to terminate it, but those are very momentary. The attraction of these relationships, the energy of these relationships are so strong that they keep you bounded in them till such time healing really kind of takes place. Now, there are no real solutions. The patterns, they will keep continuing. The negativity, the toxicity, they will keep going on till such time that the soul learning is actually completed. And that is why many a times we ourselves, or we see people who are struggling for years and years and years, at length. So it's very, very possible that the patterns will keep happening. It's not like how many times do I have to go through the pattern. It could be one time if I'm willing to take the lesson. But if the lesson is not learned, that is the key. If the lesson is not learned, the pattern will keep repeating. There will constantly be this back and forth in the relationship, but it will keep repeating till such time at a very deep level you are able to accept, take onus, and be able to release it from your space. And then you are free. And then this relationship can either evolve or it kind of terminates, whatever is the right way for this relationship to move forward. Okay. Obviously, we do not have only karmic relationships in our life as well. There are soulmates in our lives. There are twin flames. There are other soul families who are, who come into our life for different purposes, different phases. Some are like guides to us. Some are like teachers, mentors. But those relationships do not have the same kind of intensity or the kind of passion which a karmic relationship has. So that's another thing to kind of be aware of. What is it that these relationships bring to us? That very strong passion, that very strong attraction, certain amount of patterns, can be very destructive, like I said. I've got a couple of questions, so I'm just going to have a look at that, because if it is part of this, I would like to answer it now. So, okay, give me a minute. Okay, we're meeting. Okay, I'm just going to read the question out. Someone has posted it here. We are often meeting directly or indirectly so many people who sometimes we do not even know or associate. How can we stop this? If we can, is it our own manifestation? Very nice question. I'm just going to come to it, because that this does get kind of covered in our energy cords as well. I'm not ready to work it out, but that is a karmic. Absolutely. It is very possible for many people that you may get that awareness or that consciousness that you are in a karmic relationship, but the other person or the other partner has no realization of it. And that's absolutely fine. And for some of us, the partner could be who would be like, what are you talking about? What is this karma and karmic? Okay, that this makes no sense. That is also very possible. So it's not about you meet someone and then you say, oh, you know what, we have a karmic lesson to kind of work with and let's go on with it. It doesn't happen like that. Okay. I have another question, and then I'm going to integrate the answers of this because it's very similar. Karmic relationships are short term. How come they are? Correct. So these karmic relationships, okay, let's put these all together, and I will share the entire thing with you, because I wanted to move on to the energy cords, but I'll first wrap up with these. A karmic relationship is meant to be short term. Okay, it is meant to be short term. The reason it is addictive and it is recurring is because the lessons are not learned. A soulmate is someone who I can spend my entire life with peace, with evolving. Both of us will evolve at a certain level, supporting each other, growing with each other. Okay, and our consciousness is kind of tuning it at a similar place, and we are helping each other grow. That's a different relationship. A karmic relationship is specifically, perhaps in, now I'm going to add another dimension here, perhaps in a past life. I'm going to use the word past life for those who are comfortable with it. For those who are not, think about the lessons you probably decide to come and learn in this life, and with people who you want to learn it with, right? So if I have had some unfinished business with another soul, okay, or I want to experience certain things in this life, okay, which could be to experience, say, what it feels like to be put down, or what it feels like, and at a soul level there is no right or wrong. There's no duality at a soul level. Duality is at the physical plane, at earth. So in earth we say good or bad, anger or happiness, this or that, right? But at a soul level, the soul can choose to experience lack. The soul can choose to experience pain. The soul can choose to experience what it feels like to not be loved. Now, all of these are experiences the soul is choosing. Now, if I am, like someone's mentioned here, that if I am perfect on a soul level, why do I need to evolve, right? Because we are not talking about evolving at a soul level. We are already evolved beings. We are very, very pure beings, but we have chosen to be on earth to experience certain frequencies. We have chosen to be on earth and have chosen our bodies and our soul family to give us those experiences. Now, maybe if I am constantly resisting it, if I am constantly ignoring it or suppressing it, or just not willing to look at it, I will keep repeating this experience with my karmic partners in life. But if I am aware that, yes, at a soul, I am absolutely pure, I am aware, but at a physical level in this journey, I have chosen to experience certain emotions, certain learning, certain lack, certain whatever you may call it. I have chosen to experience certain things. Then it will continue to show up in my space till such time that I take the entire onus on me. So if you as a friend or a partner or a parent have caused me certain negative emotions and to date I blame you for it, that experience has not been learned because I am not willing to take the wholeness of it, that I chose to experience that. The day I decide that yes, I chose to experience it and I am ready to go beyond it. Now what happens is the energy being, which is me, allows my frequency to start lifting. It starts to rise. And this is where energy starts playing up again now. Because till such time I stay stuck in the patterns, my energy is at a lower frequency. Okay, so I hope that answers some of the questions that I've seen here. Sometimes we again. Again, you have to see what that relationship is. If the pattern is the same and it keeps coming back to you, then definitely there is some healing or some learning that needs to be there. That is why that pattern is constantly coming up over and over again. See, none of us can have relationships which are absolutely, so to speak, perfect, where there is no resistance, where there is no learning, where there is no issues coming up. Why? Because that's not possible. Again, why? Because no two individuals and no two energetic beings vibrate at the same frequency. Now, when the frequencies are not in compatibility, there will be friction, there will be resistance. But if the oneness, if the awareness is on each partner that, okay, this is my space, this is where I go, this is how it is, then that pattern is easier to overcome. When that awareness is not there, we get stuck in the lower frequencies of who's right, who's wrong, or, I'm the victim or you're the victim, or I'm arrogant. So the ego comes into play, so to speak, if we look at it, psychologically as well. Reshma, you mentioned, let me get your question first. My son is always sick with asthma. See, now, again, if your husband has a certain relationship with his father, you can probably see it from a distance, but you cannot change it for him. That awareness has to come with him. With your son, I would say, yes, definitely you can do some stuff because your son has come with certain roles. And if he's younger right now, there are many ways we can definitely work with. Okay, I will be sharing some energetic tools at the end and I will be doing one short exercise as well. See if that helps you. If you think it's more intense, feel free to connect privately and I can help you with a consult or a session with it as well. Okay, but yes, energy does create all of this. Our patterns, our relationships do have impact at a physical level as well with us. Okay, sure, definitely, Sironi, we will send that to you. Perfect. Okay, so just to summarize for those who joined in later as well, karmic relationship, their characteristics, like I shared with you, these are just some of the characteristics, of course, but they will give you a good insight if you want to reflect on your own relationships right now. And if you want to work through these relationships, many a times we feel stuck in relationships. Sometimes we feel there's nothing I can do about it. These are all our choices. There is something I can do about it, but I have to move beyond that energy of that pattern of that being stuck. When I can evolve from there, I am able to either grow out of that relationship or find a solution within the relationship that can help me. Okay, so okay, I'm going to put the questions off for now so that I cover all the topics and then I'm happy to take more even after that. Okay, so now that we know a little bit more about our relationship patterns, about our karmic relationships, how they show up in our life, what kind of experiences do come across in our space. Let's try to understand how our own energy, because sometimes the relationships that I have chosen, the learnings that I have chosen, I'm not aware of it. I may not have consciousness of it, right? That's what happens. I'm not aware what kind of people I have attracted in my life for what kind of learnings. But I do have charge over some aspect of my life. Now that is again of my energy. If I can vibrate my energy in a lighter dimension, in a higher frequency, what happens is I am able to access and go through my learnings with more ease. How does that happen? Okay, let's understand. Let's understand energy a little bit more, right? So, right at the beginning, like I mentioned, we are all energy beings. Every time we come into contact with anyone, any relationship, even a simple contact, someone here mentioned about a question about, sometimes we just meet people, we don't even know them. Anyone we come in contact with, we often get connected, okay, as we meet someone through this intangible energy thread, okay. Now, over a period, we have a whole lot of energy threads which are connecting us to other people. Naturally, certain energy threads are very, very weak because they could be just mere meetings, something, and then over. The energy is not really flowing. But certain relationships, certain experiences, even certain beliefs, they when the relationship is intense with it, when I believe something, when I focus on it too much, when I am constantly giving a lot of my attention, my awareness, my life to it, then what happens is that these threads of energy, these intangible threads of energy, they tend to become more like cords. Okay, so and these cords can connect through our chakras. For those of you who are aware of chakras, they connect through our organs, through other areas of our body, depending where the energy is really being tugged at. So any relationship that we may have had, even in the past, which we have not been able to kind of go through, relationships that we are not able to, move past, even if a person has passed away and we are still in that zone, there is this energetic cord which is connecting us to that person. And it is a good idea to be able to release it for ourselves as well as for that person. Okay, so I was talking about how you can raise your energy. What will that do? When you raise your own energy, when you take ownership for your own energy, then a lot of these energetic threads and cords of our past, of our anxieties, of our limiting beliefs that are constantly draining us of energy will tend to disconnect from us or loosen the grip from us. So this is one place where we can completely take charge. We can take charge of our energy, because even attachments, cords, over a period of time, some people heal over a period of time with their own reflection, their own pain, the way they go through it. Some people fast track it with certain kind of therapy, psychologically, a whole lot of things. Some people meditate on a regular basis. Why are we doing all of that? We are doing all of that so that we are able to move our energetic frequencies from that space of trauma, from that space of negativity, from that space of destructive patterns or blindness, or whatever it is that is not allowing us to move forward, by raising the frequency. When you raise the frequency, lower vibrations, lower frequencies are unable to hold on or access your energy, your auric field, the way it was perhaps earlier. And that is why a lot of people who have a very regular practice or who do a lot of self work will notice that certain triggers which were there in the past, and as you work on them, are no longer triggering you as much. Why does that happen? That happens because over a period of time, you have been able to take charge of your own energy and have been able to raise that frequency. So the negativity of those experiences are no longer grasping or leaking your energy out of you. Okay, so that's one part which is a good starting part to understand negative energy cords, which is the second part of our webinar today. Now, how do you become aware of your energy? I will do one very quick exercise right now. So I would ask all of you to join me in that. For anyone who doesn't want to do the exercise in a meditative way, it's a very short exercise. But if you are not keen or you are not in the space where you can do it, you can actually do it by writing it down. Okay, so we can do that as well. So I would request you all to just take a moment, leave anything that is around you, and if you can, just close your eyes and take a nice deep breath. And we'll do this just for a few moments so that you have a way to kind of put into practice a certain way to reflect your own energy and be able to work with your energy better. So just close your eyes, take a nice deep breath. And now let's just take 3 cleansing breaths, which are basically you breathe in through your nose and you breathe out through your mouth. And you don't have to count your breath or anything, just at your own natural rhythm. You breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. Let's do that one last time, third time. Breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. Excellent. Now just keep your awareness on your breath and notice your breath as you inhale and exhale. Now, I would like you to just for a moment bring into your awareness your relationships and just notice what comes up for you, what people come up into your mind space. There could be a number of people that come up. There could be instances or certain memories that come up. And at this moment, just observe what's coming up for you. And is whatever it is that's coming up for you, does it feel harmonious? Does it feel peaceful? Are your relationships adding value, peace into your life? Or are there constant conflicts? And just become aware of what's coming up for you. Just take another moment. And just notice any specific relationships that show up more than once in your mind space. And in this space, just ask for any lesson, any learning that you need in this moment of time to come to you with ease. And you just set an intention of that. And as you do that, you may by now have zoned in or narrowed in into a particular relationship. If you haven't, that's okay as well. You can just ask for a learning or a lesson that is appropriate for you to take and move beyond in this time. And wherever energetically is right for you, it will show up in your space. And once you have done that, you can just let it go, take your awareness back to your breath, and slowly open your eyes. Now, what we did here is nothing that you may not have done before, but it is a very powerful way to kind of set an intention, to ask for learnings, and to also become aware What are the relationships that are active in your energetic field and vibration? Because remember that our energetic field, and someone asked a question right now, which I will address as we go on, about how do we cleanse our auric field. Our auric field, our energy centers are constantly vibrating at different frequencies. Now, whatever is active in our thought space, whatever we are feeling at an emotional space, we are vibrating energetically. And that vibration translates into experiences, whether it is a healthy experience in a relationship, whether it is a lack experience, whether it is an abusive experience. But the way it is active in your vibration is how it's going to manifest in your physical reality. Now, if the vibrations are low frequency, if the vibrations are toxic, therefore these repetitions keep coming up. Where you have certain charge is to raise the vibration so that when the learning has to show up, you are ready to take the learning. You are not suppressing it under the carpet, you are not avoiding it, you are not resisting it, you are not playing the victim game, you are not playing the blame game. And this will happen naturally as well. Of course, there are many ways and exercises and processes with which we can work with you, and I will be doing another workshop sometime soon on cord cutting. So that's another way. You can do it in your meditation, you can have a one-on-one healing session. Ways are multitude, but you have the power within you to be able to work with it by yourself at some level if you choose to, before you decide to kind of work with it and take it to the next level. So that's something that is very important for you to understand what's active in your energetic vibration. This will now help us to understand where the energy is draining from. What are these cords? What are these relationships that you kind of are stuck in, which are taking away from you your peace, your happiness, your ability to be happy in a relationship and things like that. So let's understand how energy cords work. These energy cords, like I mentioned to you, get connected between two people or more whenever they come into contact in intense relationships and physical relationships, and where there's been a lot of love, a lot of emotions. The cords get thicker and thicker. Strong relationships, they obviously tend to be much. Like I mentioned, even after the relationship is over, or if a person has passed over, the cord can still remain. Energy cords of attachments can be connected to the chakras of both people. That is why sometimes, how you get this feeling, I'm thinking about someone and the phone rings. Or a lot of my clients have shared this with me that, I was in a bad relationship, the relationship ended, but every time I notice I start to feel very anxious about this person, or I'm trying to move on, but there's something that's constantly pulling me back. And I just happen to go on Insta and I see some post from him, or he's tried to contact me on WhatsApp in that moment. Why is it that you're feeling it before? Because the energy cords are still connected. Whether you love a person passionately, whether there is a lot of baggage, damage, hatred, the cords are still connected. So if there are negative relationships in your past, in your life, that you want to, just completely do away with, you want the lessons to be learned and you want to move ahead of it, energetic cords should be disconnected, released, let go. Of course, these energy cords, also those like positive relationships, can nourish us, can help us feel intuitive, can help us feel, good about ourselves. Negative cords can drain us of energy, like I already mentioned. Cutting these cords will free you of any kind of negative energy, draining links, which affects you as well as your surrounding and space. Now, to understand now this understanding can kind of get you more into a space where you would like to also explore a little bit with yourself. So since we have only about 15 minutes left, I'll just give you a broad certain exercises that you can do as well. First, don't get overwhelmed by the number of relationships that you might have that need healing. Common relationships to focus on could be a partner, a child, a father, past friends, abusive relationships that are still in your space, relationship with employers, and so on. There are many, many ways to cleanse and heal from these energetic connections. Okay. Once you have the awareness, like the exercise that we did, first have the awareness of what it is that you want to shift. Then, if you are comfortable, go ahead, and that this is something I tell in all my webinars, all my classes, to every client: get a journal. Nothing works better than getting a journal and actually putting down different aspects of your life that you are creating awareness in, and then working on it, because we cannot change anything till we know what it is, and we can only know what it is when we become aware of it, when we accept it for what it is, and then we move beyond. So even if you want to work on yourself, some people have asked for auric cleansing right now, some people have asked for energetic space, so let me share that quickly with you. Get a journal, definitely put down what you want to work with. Okay, that will give you awareness. We will do a short technique right now. You can do that all the time to become aware where you're storing these energies in your body. And I will not be sharing how to cut the cord here, because that is a very intense process and it cannot be done right away like this. But like I mentioned, we will be having another workshop on cord cutting, or if you are really wanting to move out of something which is toxic for you, can always do it one-to-one as well, because you need a more sacred space to be working with that. Okay, one more question has come. Let me see that. Even after conscious effort to stop, you'll end up doing. Again, someone has asked about how with certain people you feel so intense. Yes, because there is this connection, perhaps from the past, perhaps from a past life, perhaps from the soul family. It's like, have you ever noticed that you take in energy from somewhere, you're having a very, very tough time, you're having an experience which is not very good for you, but you meet this one person or you have this one moment and there is a complete release. So wherever there is this sense of knowing, physically you may not even know that person, physically you may feel it's alien to your nature, but when you come across this energy with another person which feels so familiar, you will go ahead and have that same pattern kind of going on with you. Can you cut negative energy cords with someone you are still in a relationship? We cleanse those cords. So if you're still with someone and there are negative energy cords, of course that relationship needs healing. Now, if that relationship needs healing and you are in it with a choice, so first and foremost, you have to see how you are in that relationship. Is it because you are just simply succumbing to it, or it is a choice you made for whatever reason it may be? If it is a choice you made for whatever reason it may be, then yes, you do not cut the negative energy cord, but you do work with the energy cord. You do send certain kind of positivity, certain blessings. I'm going to take it onto that exercise. You can do that exercise, Zarina, as well, for whatever you're looking at over here. Okay, I hope I have answered most of the questions. I will go through them again, but because we're running out of time, I do want to just wrap up the rest what I wanted to share today. Daily cleansing, so daily rituals, right? Very important for you to make sure that your energy field is vibrating high. One is those of us who are into a practice of meditation. Please do that regularly, especially in times like today when it's so easy to accumulate negativity. It is a very good idea to spend even 10 minutes in meditation through the day, journaling to be aware of what thoughts are going on. If you are struggling with someone, there is a relationship, you are stuck in it, you cannot get out of it, I'm going to share with you a technique, and you may laugh and say, that makes no sense, but trust me, it makes a lot of sense. If you are, say, with a toxic partner, it's a very hard relationship. You can even do this with a child, if it's a very difficult child parent relationship that you have. In your journal, create a separate section, put this person's name, and every day put at least 5 to 7 to 10 positive attributes about this person. Okay, in the same space, write down experiences, maybe if they are not experiences you've gone through, but bring in the energy of peaceful experiences with this person and thank this person. And I know many of you are willing to shout right now and say that is not possible, and I get you, I understand that that does happen. But if you are willing to go beyond to experience that shift, even in the most toxic relationships, you have to change the vibration with which you are dealing with that relationship. Point is, if you are already in that relationship, if you're already struggling, if there is so much negativity, the more negativity you pour into it, the more negative the environment becomes. And if you also have others who are involved, say children, for many cases, they also absorb that same negative environment. What can you do? You've made a choice to stay, even if that choice is out of a space of being a victim or not having any other choices. Whatever be the reason, if you have made a choice to stay in a toxic relationship, still go ahead and take the level of that relationship to a higher space. If you have chosen to walk out of the relationship, by all means do, and cut the cords and get over the learning, release the person. But if you have chosen to move away from that person, but every single day you have negative thoughts about the person, negative thoughts about the relationship, you are still being consumed by that relationship. You are still allowing the energy, that negativity, to not set you free or to not let you heal. So whether you are in the relationship, whether you are out of the relationship, if you are choosing to heal with it, you have to let go of the hurt, however hard it may be. And I know it sounds easy to say that, but I have worked with clients, and it sometimes it just works miraculously when we are able to take that step and say, okay, I will go beyond this, because it's not about the other person. Whatever hurt or pain they have already given you is already done, it's in the past. The reason you feel it is because you are keeping it active in your vibration right now. The day you go beyond it, it will start to loosen its grip. The cord will start to release that kind of accumulated negativity, and you will come into a much, much better space in your life. Okay, so quick things that you can do. A lot of people had asked for this even before we started. What can you do daily? One, I said meditate. One, I said journal. Can you repeat the journal separate section? You said yes, positive attributes. So you can have one journal. I like to have multiple journals. One of my journals is like the vent journal. One journal is like the positive aspects journal, gratitude journal. So you can see how it works for you. You can make sections as well within your journal. The awareness journal is something where you become aware of your thoughts, okay, and then you work on them. The positive journal is where you actually pick up a person, a situation, a thing, a job, wherever you feel there's too much negativity accumulated, and start writing positive attributes about it, and do it every day. And when you do it, try to feel good. If that doesn't make you feel good, while you do it, do something else that makes you feel good. Maybe put on your favorite song, maybe put on some great essential oil, maybe burn a candle, be with a pet, be with a child. Do anything that makes you feel good as you do that. So what's happening is you are bringing together a good feeling, as well as you're putting down from your subconscious something which you want to change. Magical effects happen with that. What more can you do? You can, of course, use something as simple as salt in your house to raise the energy of the house. Okay, this helps a lot with, especially if we are like in a family and there is a lot of intense emotions flowing through the house. You can use salt in your water to actually, when you do the sweeping of the house, you can put salt. If you're into crystals, crystals work beautifully once you kind of give them certain, you tune them a certain way. That works beautifully as well. If you have, even sound works beautifully. So if you have like a singing bowl or a bell, or chants, if you can put on even from YouTube, certain frequencies, those work very well to keep the energy high. For ourselves, when we want to raise our vibrations, affirmations work so beautifully because it helps on a regular basis to reprogram your mind. And once the thoughts are programmed, the energy starts to reflect the new vibration. So that helps. And if you are struggling with a relationship, use an affirmation that can help you to go beyond that feeling of struggle. So that again is something which is great. Another thing every single day is grounding. Just ground with the energy of the earth. It really helps us to absorb, this strength to be able to change things. 2 3 people again in the chat have asked me for how we can kind of protect our energy. I'm going to show a very simple technique to you right now. One is, those who want to do it in a meditative state can just close their eyes and do it, and those who want to write it down, you can write it down. How you basically do it is, you get into a quiet space. Okay, you ground yourself by simply tapping your feet on the surface of the earth. If you can be out in nature, in gardens or anywhere, you can do it there as well. By being connected in nature, you can connect to the earth energy, which is super grounding and really healthy for us in these moments. Then once we have grounded, we close our eyes, we take our awareness to our breath, and you can do that right now. Just take your awareness to your breath. As you breathe in and as you breathe out, you just notice what's going on in your mind. And then you take your awareness to that one thing you are choosing to heal out of, that one thing you are choosing to kind of work with right now. Whatever it is, just bring it into your awareness. Okay, and now as you start to think of this, okay, your body will also respond to you if you tune into it. So what you do is, as you think about this person, let's think about a person, because most of you have asked questions on a person for a relationship. Think about this person and you tune into your body and notice, where is it that you are feeling any kind of trigger, heaviness, sometimes a very fuzzy feeling as you think about this person. If you are unable to identify, that's fine. Just allow yourself to tune in to what it is that you would like to heal out of. Then just note, if you can notice it, then just notice the area or whatever it is that is coming up for you, and take your awareness on it with the intention to release it. Okay, so some people feel it a lot in their chest area. Many of us hold a lot of our traumas, our experiences in this area. Some people feel it in their lower back, some people feel it in their neck. So you just, in your own time, notice where it is that you are feeling this heaviness, this tension, this anxiety as you think about this person. And as you begin to tune into it, your intention is to release it from your space. And this is not magic that you do it once and you are all clear. This is a self-help tool which will help you to connect to this energy, and gradually, if you continue doing it on a regular basis, you will notice that stiffness, that heaviness begins to get better as you do it. So now give this space in your body a certain color. So give it a shape and give it a color. If it's stiffness, if it's heaviness, if it's tension, if it's tingling, everyone experiences it differently. So whatever you are experiencing as you thought of this toxic relationship in your body, give it a certain shape and give it a certain color. Now, once you have given it, some of us can visualize easily, some of us can't. Don't worry about it. Just the power of intention works brilliantly with energy, even if you are not able to see it initially. Okay, now just allow the light from above, which is the, we have these 7 chakras, and just allow the light from the universe, pure positive light. And you can call for it from the creator, from the universe. Just feel this beautiful light could be white, it could be golden, it could be rainbow. You may not see a color, but just pure positive light coming down into that space and just like engulfing that shape and that color into that light, making it smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and releasing it down to the soles of your feet where you had grounded from. So Mother Earth takes it away, just surrendering it to her. And just allow that light to continue to flow through you, moving into every cell of your body, moving into your organs, especially where you felt that feeling, everywhere that you experience that tension, where the light has come and taken. Allow the light to fill up that space, that void, all the cells, tissues, all the organs, the senses, and then slowly feel it moving into your auric field, which is all around you. Just filling that up. And as it does that, it starts to raise your vibration. You will start to feel lighter when you do this regularly. Just lifting your vibration, creating a ball all around you. And just now, in your mind's eye, envision yourself in this ball of light. This ball of light, which is like your shield, which is like your protection. It safeguards you from negative emotions, negative triggers. It safeguards you from negative content, especially in today's day. Just safeguards you, protects you, deflects negativity, and keeps you in a high vibrating space. And then just take a nice deep breath once you have envisioned yourself in this ball. And then you bring your awareness back to the breath. And then you bring your awareness back to the body. And slowly, you open your eyes if you had closed them. And that's what you do on a regular basis as well. You just go ahead and make yourself comfortable, connect with that feeling, however intense it may be, and then slowly give it where you feel it most in the body, because we all hold in certain parts of our body. And eventually, if this energy is not released, then we tend to manifest it as physical issues, as pain, as discomfort, and things like that. So go ahead and work with this on yourself. If you would like to work on something specific, we are offering a whole lot of online solutions right now, online free consults. If you would like to book, we can do that. If you're looking for a workshop on cutting the cords, something's on the way. We can share the details with you on email as well. Yeah, and if you have any other question, or if something which I've missed on top and you would like to know, please do post it again. I'll have a look at it right now. And because it is time, anyone who obviously needs to leave, thank you so much for joining today. And I do hope you did take back something which is, good for you, to help you to move forward, to heal. Thank you very much for all those who tuned in. And feel free to connect with us if you would like to work. There are a lot of people who mentioned some very specific, relationships. I understand those can be quite, heavy to work with. So if you would like to do a session, if you would like to work with cord cutting, happy to assist you with that. Yeah. Thank you very much. Any more questions? Feel free. Thank you so much, Pooja. Thank you, Nilambri. Thank you, Aditi. Thank you, all of you, for joining in today. Thank you, Iya. I hope your questions were answered. Wonderful. Okay, I'm seeing some questions which have come privately. I'm just going to see those. They can stay back. Madiha, certain relationships do evolve. Maybe this person is, maybe once the lessons are learned, this relationship could go in a way in which you are completely tuned with each other. It's very possible. It's not just a karmic relationship. So yes, it's very, very possible. Thank you, Reshma. Yes, I would like to help you with this. Do let me know what it is you're looking for, and we can. I'm just going to take these details so that we can get in touch with you. This chat, I'm unable to go up to questions which I've already missed out. So I'm really sorry if I have missed out. Thank you so much, Manisha, for joining today. Means a lot. You guys all came in. Thank you, Priya. Priya, I missed your question. Maybe we can discuss it. I'm working towards it by meditating. Neetu, why don't you book for a 20-minute free consult? I'm very happy to share with you different processes and things that you can do. We can do that. We are offering 20-minute free consults. We can do that for sure. Okay, Reshma has sent something. Let me just take the details of that. Sure, Reshma, we will get in touch with you. Thank you so much for joining. Definitely, yeah, we will make sure that we have a consult done with you for sure.